The Griffins are an everyday American family, doing what families do, enjoying mother's cooking, spending lots of time together, shopping, supporting and loving each other. But all that was interrupted by the worst possible phone call any parent could receive.
My son-in-law called my husband, and the look on his face, I would never forget that. And him screaming, "Joe killed Tiki," and I grabbed the phone. I'm like, what? He said, Joe killed Tiki. And for us to ride, Tiki only stayed a good 5 minutes away, but it seemed like forever getting there. It's forever. And we get around there and, see police and everything, and I'm asking them, what about Maya? Where is Maya?
But she didn't get an answer. Demaya is Vicky's granddaughter. Shatiki is her daughter. And Joseph Smith was Shatiki's boyfriend, who began calling the family members to confess. This was a chance for Vicky, the powerful matriarch of the family, to speak with Joe.
I think Jasmine called him, that the police kept trying to get in touch with him. And I said, let me speak to him. And at that point I called and I was like, Joe, where is Tiki? He was like, she dead, Mom. I said, you killed Tiki? He was like, yeah, I'm scared, I panic, I don't know what to do. And I was like, but where is Maya? He was like, she's gone. I said, did you hurt Maya? He was like, no. I said, Joe, tell me the truth, we can help you. He was like, I'm scared. No, Maya gone. I said, Joe, come out the house. He was like, Mom, I'm scared. I said, I'm here. You come out, I'll be here waiting on you. And he said, well, I don't see you. I said, well, I'm out here. You have to come out. He was like, at that point, okay,
But what about Maya?
We still waiting to find out really what happened. And a few, maybe 30 minutes, an hour, I don't really exactly know how long. We see two of the coroner's truck that carried the body. So, at that point, I already knew, but, at that point, they both were gone. And I can remember sitting in front of their door, they wouldn't let us go in. And I could see both of the trucks. And I just remember thinking, put them together.
Many of you may be asking, how could something like this happen? Were there signs along the way? Actually, yes, there were signs. In fact, the family went looking for those signs before Shatiki got involved with Joe Smith.
Shatiki heard something about Joseph, last year, 2 years ago. And me and her searched for it. And I couldn't find anything. She couldn't find anything. So we thought he was okay.
Well, after the funeral, it was like a few days later. I think actually it might have been before the funeral. We learned that Joseph had a warrant out on him. That he had tried to rape somebody and strangle him and beat him.
The ball was dropped. I think that Atlanta police should have acted on the warrant.
It was just there. We saw that it had been signed, but nobody acted on it. So, we was like, we want a law. It's when I say, we want a law. And that's when I think Mr. Bartel came in. Well, Mooley introduced us to Mr. Al Bartel, and he kind of helped us to get the ball rolling,
What I'm doing is pointing out what it takes to communicate to state representatives, what it takes to communicate to the committees, what it takes to design and put together a reliable, solid piece of legislation for considerations.
If it passes, the legislation would allow families to see records of violence on file at police departments.
So it's time for us to have some legislation on the books that can allow for and cause a better relationship between the law enforcement community and the everyday citizen.
A better relationship might have saved 2 precious lives. But without that law, the Griffins were blindsided about Joseph Smith's violence.
Because he had 5 open cases and none of them were convicted, we was not able to see anything. So with this legislation, it'll prevent somebody else's family from going through what we're going through.
This is not about us anymore. It's not about us. It's not about my mom or my sister. It's more about everyone else. We've already took our loss. it's a prevention act for a reason. We're trying to prevent it from happening again.
Shortly after this tragedy, there was a third death in the Griffin family. In part 2 of this story, the Griffins talk about their patriarch, their focus on better laws, and ways to know if your relationship is in trouble.
That's how it started. It started out cussing you out, and then next thing you know, they hit you. Then next thing you know, it can be over for you. They can take your life at any time.
The second part of this story will air right here on YouTube on August 27th. In Atlanta, I'm Mark Ritchie. On behalf of RitchVoice Productions, Southeast Region News, and your voice, be safe, be powerful, and be proactive.